This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions coming to you again about real estate and homelessness, especially back in my hometown, New York City. Neighbors raised concerns over thousands of New York City's homeless housing hotels. Now imagine you can stay in a hotel and you see thousands of people who are homeless living in there if you want to visit. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not sure which hotels they are, but this is definitely a concern. And any kind of news, especially because New York was the epicenter of when coronavirus really hit hard, and it's one of the states that's extremely affected by everything. Before the pandemic, the city's social service department had 3,500 single adults housed in hotels. Now there are more than 13,000. It's just hard to conceive these numbers sometimes. I'm dive right in articles. Always, I'm put a link inside the description. New York City has been housing thousands of homeless in dozens of hotels during the coronavirus pandemic, but neighbors are voicing concerns. CBS 2's Andrea Grimes reported Thursday security guards stood outside of one of the city's newest temporary homeless shelters, the Lucreen Hotel on the Upper West Side. Wow. The city ran this program of housing homeless New Yorkers in hotels in April to ensure social distancing and safety during the pandemic. They doubled up, so they're not totally risk-free, but it's certainly better than it was before in terms of COVID, said Brooklyn Councilman Stephen Levin. Before the pandemic, the city's Department of Social Services had 3,500 single adults housed in hotels. Now there are more than 13,000 are in 139 hotels across the city. The single adults continue to go up and up and up, so the shelters are so overcrowded they had to do something, said Bob Mascale, former Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Homeless Services under Mayors Giuliani and Bloomberg. There's no word exactly how much the hotel program costs. It's never worried about the cost. But it's estimated to be hundreds of millions of dollars. Councilman Levin said FEMA is reimbursing the city for 70% of that money. From job loss to addiction, it's a heartbreaking situation for many, but the program has been controversial. As CBS 2 reported, many neighbors around several hotels have found an increase in crime and quality of life problems. They're all not related to shelter residents. Some call from bad actors like drug dealers who take advantage of a vulnerable population. Homeless residents moved out of the Washington Jefferson Hotel in Hell's Kitchen this week after numerous complaints from neighbors. Wow. On Thursday, Mayor Bill de Blasio was asked about concerns that hotels are being used with little to no input from the community beforehand. We should always work with communities, but in the crisis environment, there's not always time to be idolize community outreach, but any community concerns must be addressed, said the mayor. Wow. Bilal Danapani, the president and CEO of the Hotel Association of New York City, represents some of the hotels in the program. Danapani said many have no choice but to participate since the hotel industry is struggling without tourism. Interesting. For them, it was kind of a do or die situation, so they welcomed it, said Danapani. Every hotel is doing their best. Let's remember, every one of those hotels wants to go back to being what they were purposely built for. So it's not in their interest to just in any way destabilize a neighborhood. The nonprofit Project Renewal, which ran the Washington Jefferson Shelter, also runs a new shelter at the Lucreen. The group says 70 staffers and security guards work there around the clock, ensuring the client's safety and to be good neighbors. The New York NYPD officially stopped homeless outreach unless it involves suspected criminal activity. The Department of Social Service said it adds additional security at all hotels that are used. If you're staying over there, it's just hard to even picture this, especially growing up in New York, living in most good portion of my adult life, to see where everything is deteriorated too. I don't know if they have a video here talking about it. It's just fascinating to see. Latest story: Lucreen Hotel on Upper West Side turns into temporary homeless shelter, prompting concern about petrified neighbors. People scared because it's Upper West Side. It's just amazing how much things have changed and how far we're moving in a downward decline. I'm not trying to make any light or little to this. It's just that it's just wow. Sometimes these wow moments, and you just really need to think about things differently. And anything going back to normal, I think it's just out of the question, out of the picture. We just have to get used to the new existence that we're in. If this video has been any value to you, please subscribe, leave some comments. Until my next video, I'm out.